Hi, and thanks for being here with me. I want to start by talking about why I'm making this video and who I think might benefit from it. If you found this video, it is probably through our Facebook group or through our YouTube channel, Awesome Life 101. Our mission with Awesome Life 101 is to inspire and empower people to envision their own awesome life and then to give people the tools to achieve those dreams. So if you're here, it's probably because you have a desire to change your life in some way. Whether you want to travel more, pursue other passions like photography or kayaking or rock climbing, the sky's the limit. Tovi and I can absolutely help you build that into a business, and we would be happy to talk to you about that if you reach out to us. But even if you are not interested in building a business, those pursuits that make an awesome life require some extra money, some extra spending money. And even if you do want to build a business, that's not necessarily going to be an overnight success. And you may need some money to get by and to get that business started and building your awesome life until that business can start paying you back. And as many of you know, that is the situation that Tovi and I have put ourselves into intentionally. We both left our jobs and started Awesome Life 101 as a full-time business. And we are absolutely loving what we do and doing it side by side and being here and being present for our family. And if we weren't doing it full time, we would not have the time, energy, and focus required to build the business that is giving us the life of our dreams. In order to serve people and help with this global movement towards freedom and lives of purpose and service for all people. So whether you're here for creative financing ideas for a startup business or for other aspects of your own awesome life, I'm here to give you a number of ideas. So I highly recommend that you grab a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen or pencil and start taking some notes. Now, if you're anything like me, your first inclination will be to make a numbered list, but I would encourage you to just use bullet points because after this call, or after this video, I would recommend that you go back through all the ideas that I'm going to share with you and number them in terms of the ones that you are wanting to try first and second and third and etc. So keep in mind that I am not a financial advisor, although I am related to a very good certified financial planner, and I'm happy to give you her phone number if you ask. I am not in any way a financial advisor, and I am not giving you any financial advice. I'm just sharing some ideas, some tips and tricks that Tovi and I have used over the years, things that have worked for us, and I'll even share some that I researched and I'll let you know that I have not tried. But like I said, contact your own advisor, find a financial advisor if any of this feels uncomfortable to you, or if you need some financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. So here we go. As I suggested in your notebook, mark this your first bullet point. And the first idea I want to share with you is about reducing your current expenses. Now, if you use any kind of financial software, we use Quicken, which I highly recommend. It is not that complicated. It's also not that simple to set up, but it is so worth it, especially if you use it long term. I've been using it for probably 20 years, and so it's really easy to look and see where our money is going and where we could afford to cut some expenses. So I would be happy to get on a phone call or Zoom with you and help you set up Quicken software. I could do a video if that's something that you guys are interested in, but just let me know. So if you have that, great. If not, go ahead and get out your bank statements and credit card statements, whatever you use, and start taking a look at where your money's going. And now I know people talk about like cutting out a coffee a day, but I would start with your bigger expenses. Um, if you're only saving $10 a month or $15 a month by cutting out, say, Netflix, you're only cutting out $120 to $180 a year. And yes, everything counts, but I would start with the big rocks first. So I would look at your auto insurance and what your deductibles are there, and see if that's a place you can cut costs. Once you're self-employed and your income is lower, you may be able to save a lot on, for example, electric or gas costs. The other thing that working from home, our fuel costs have gone down significantly. And then when we talk about budgeting, I think it's really, really important to not over budget and limit yourself. Because in my last 27 years of being an adult, I have learned one really important lesson, and that is when I over budget my family and we start cutting out everything that makes life enjoyable and pleasurable, and we get down to the bare bones, and we're just holding on so tightly to what we have. A real scarcity mindset comes in, and we're holding on so tightly to what we have that we are not open to receiving more from the universe. And so money stops flowing in. And so even though we have no income right now, we are still going out to dinner, still going to Starbucks every once in a while. I think budgeting is great, and not wasting money where you don't have to is valuable. But allow yourself to experience and enjoy life and live an abundant lifestyle and trust that the money is going to come. So like I said, insurance, gas and electric, see, those big bills, what can you reduce? The next thing that I would suggest putting on your list would be, after reducing your unnecessary expenses or extravagant expenses, the next recommendation is to sell anything that is no longer serving you. I mean, and it can be anything from small to really big stuff. So first of all, start going through closets, the garage, and setting aside things that you no longer need or use. And some of those things can actually get returned if you still have the receipt and things still have tags on them. When I was a home organizer, I saw this all the time, and a lot of my clients got a lot of things returned and got a lot of money back just that way. When you make donations, that is a sign to the universe that you are open to receiving more as you let more go. So, make those donations. And then finally, there are lots of things that are in good quality and impersonal enough that people are happy to buy them. And we've made hundreds of dollars on selling things on Craigslist, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, letgo.com, sell.com, declutter.com, Poshmark, just anything that you want to sell, there's a place online or there's an app that you can use to get some money for those things. So, there's nothing worse than just having a house full of things that you don't need. And as you hoard, the universe tends to hold back with what they give you. I truly believe that. So as you let things flow to people who need them and who want them more than you, it allows for money to flow back into your life. So number 3 is borrowing money from yourself. So some of you may have investment accounts or retirement accounts. Now, like I said, I am not a financial advisor, and you should definitely talk to a financial advisor, especially because withdrawing money from retirement accounts can have some serious tax ramifications and even penalties. So you definitely do want to look into that and talk to a financial advisor before you just go taking money out. However, um, if it's possible and if it makes sense for you, taking money out of an investment account and using that money to invest in yourself or into a business that's going to have a much higher ROI over time, I think that's a really good move. And Tovi and I have definitely made that move recently. And I have no doubt that we are going to pay ourselves back many times over the amount that we've borrowed from our investment accounts. If the idea of taking money out of your retirement or investment accounts fills you with fear, don't do it. Don't do something that fills you with fear or dread. But just stay open to the opportunity or the possibility that maybe one day you might want to borrow money from yourself. What are you saving that money for, if not for your awesome life, right? The next bullet point is about real estate, and consider what real estate you have and if you could possibly refinance to take some cash out or to lower your monthly payment. Or maybe you have some extra real estate like a vacation house, I don't know your situation, or an investment property that you could sell that you could then invest in your own awesome life. Perhaps you have an extra bedroom or two that you could rent out to somebody. We have great friends that have been doing that for years, and they rent to graduate students, and they've always had a really good experience. Perhaps you could downsize to a smaller house or relocate to a less expensive area. One thing to keep in mind, if you are thinking about starting your own business, your geographical location now could be pretty unlimited. For us personally, we're kind of tethered to our current home because we love being close to family and because our kids are both happy in their schools here. But we do explore and consider the idea of where else we could move that could end up being less expensive in the near future. The next bullet point is about open-minded but wise use of credit cards. And again, I'm not advising you to do anything, but if you do put some expenses on credit cards that are going to pay you back much, much more than the cost of the expense, plus the interest that you're going to pay, then I would say that that's a good move. It's very important that before you begin playing around with credit cards or using credit cards to fund your awesome life, that you really understand and have a plan about what you're doing, that you understand credit scores and interest rates, and you know where you are and you have a clear plan in mind. And again, I'm happy to have a phone call with you and work on this with you. Happy to make a video specifically about how I track our credits. Just let me know if that's something that you're interested in. You know, I spend probably 2 hours a week financially managing our household and our business. Basically, you want to make sure that you have a 0% interest rate for as long as possible. And if it takes balance transfers to get all your credit balances to 0%, that can be a really good move. But you have to watch out for the fees that they charge for transferring the balances. So if you can find a balance transfer offer that's for like 2 or 3%, that's usually a really good move. At 4%, you have to start asking yourself, is it worth it? And if the card that the balance is currently on is very high, like over 16%, then it probably is worth it. As I said, I spend a good 2 or 3 hours a week looking at our interest rates, looking at our credit cards, seeing what makes sense, and knowing exactly where we stand. And I use Quicken, and actually, I kind of have to limit myself so I don't do it more than necessary. But basically, what I'm saying is that if you want an excuse not to live your own awesome life, money's an easy excuse. It's really easy to say, I can't afford it. I can't do that right now. However, money doesn't have to be an obstacle. You can do what you want and you can have what you want if you're open minded, diligent, responsible, and able to handle some delayed gratification. You can't necessarily have everything you want right away. Um, so, the other thing is, if you don't have such a great track record with credit, it's not too late to start. Now's the best time to start being really responsible and improving your credit score, making all your payments on time, and setting up systems that are going to serve you well so that in the future, you have the freedom to do and have whatever it is you want in your life. The next bullet point is about asking other people for money. Now, of course, everybody has different feelings and histories about this. Between Tovi and I, there's only one person that we would go to ask for a significant amount of money, or really for any money. And we have a very open and honest relationship with this person about money. And there's really no one else that I would personally feel comfortable asking. But I know that it's a very common way that people finance their passions and their interests and their businesses. So I did some more research about it. And here are some tips, I guess I would say, for asking other people for money. First of all, I would think about if there's anyone who owes you money. And I would tactfully remind them and tell them what that money could do for you if you had it back, so that you can invest in yourself and your future. Next, if you're going to ask someone for money who doesn't owe you money, don't expect it. Don't be entitled. If they don't owe you, they don't owe you anything. And so come from a place of humility and respect, but not shame. Respect for yourself and respect for them and what they've earned. And make sure that you speak to them in person or at least on the phone, and definitely not in a text message. Make sure that you communicate what you will do with the money and how it will serve you. Be professional in your communication with them. Make sure that you make it clear whether you're asking them to give you a gift or whether you're asking for a loan, and what the terms of that loan would be, how you plan to pay it off, how often, how much each month, for example, and if they should expect interest from you. What's in it for them? What's the benefit for them? And it really will depend on your relationship with them. And definitely all the tips and tricks suggest showing them how you've invested in yourself first and how committed you are to this dream. And my next bullet point would be to get a side hustle. And I know that we're talking about having more time and energy and focus for your awesome life, and adding on another job doesn't necessarily seem congruent with that. But think about it. First of all, you could find another job doing something that is preparing you for your awesome life or is in alignment with your awesome life. But no matter what it is, if you work hard for an extra month or 2 or 3 or 6 or a year, think about where that could set you up to be a year from now, and decide whether that's something that's worth it to you. And again, in the end, I really want you to think about money as a force for good and not a force for evil, a vehicle for getting you where it is you want to go. And when you come to something that you can't afford, I want you to start looking at that as an obstacle that you can overcome. How are you going to get over it, around it, under it? How are you going to bust through that obstacle rather than letting it stop you in your tracks? And if there's ever anything that Toby and I can do to help you move forward and achieve your awesome life, please reach out and let us know. Just don't ask us to borrow money. Not right now, anyway. Love you. Thank you for being here. And please let me know in the comments which of these bullet points you are most excited to start doing in your life. And go back in your notepad and number them so that you know which one you're going to work on first, second, third, and you know how you're going to finance your awesome and abundant life. That's it for this week. Love you much. Thanks for being here. Bye.